To date, Toyota has sold over 70 million electrified vehicles, but they've virtually all been hybrids. This BZ4X mid-sized SUV is the brand's first purpose-built EV. Since its engineering draws on over 2 decades of electrified automotive experience, you'd expect it to be a very complete product indeed. You shouldn't be disappointed.
Toyota's prevailing mantra, that for no more boring cars, is certainly put to the test with this one. The BZ4X, like its segment rivals, is weighed down with a battery as heavy as an Asian baby elephant. Here that battery is a meaty 71.4 kilowatt hours in size, and it sits low down as an integral structural part of the all-new ET&GA platform. The taut rigidity of this chassis helps explain surprisingly agile cornering prowess for a mid-sized EV crossover of this class, and those underpinnings can accommodate either front-driven or all-wheel drive powertrains. Both can be specified with a BZ4X, and both use the clever e-axle design that integrates the transaxle, the electric motor and the inverter into a single unit. The two-wheel drive version gets a front-mounted 150 kilowatt motor developing 201 brake horsepower and offering between 277 and 317 miles of range. That version is probably all the BZ4X you really need. It would be a pity though to ignore the alternative Subaru developed all-wheel drive model we're trying here, which offers a down-rated 80 kilowatt motor on the front axle and another identically powerful one at the rear, hence the 215 brake horsepower system output and between 257 and 286 miles of range. X-Mode branded snow dirt or deep snow mud drive settings give this EV an unusual level of capability on the slippery stuff too. A more useful selectable drive setting for all BZ4X models is that for regeneration boost, which slows your off-throttle progress by up to 0.15 G, in the process harvesting more energy to recharge the battery as you drive. This Toyota needs that, given that its mileage range figures are hardly class leading, but in terms of refinement and ride quality, it's up there with the class leaders. As is handling response through the turns, which might in future be further improved by the clever one-motion grip steer-by-wire system that Toyota's planning. The battery replenishment stats are competitive too. This car can offer an 11 kilowatt 3-phase onboard charger, and it will accept fast charging at up to 150 kilowatts, which will get you an 80% fill in 20 minutes from a 150 kilowatt DC charger. It'll be an hour with a 50 kilowatt DC charger. Your garage wall box with a 230 volt 32 amp system will take about 9.5 hours for a full charge. You sense that Toyota was undecided whether its first proper electric vehicle should look like an EV or an SUV, which is why we've got a design here that blends a bit of both, hardly altered at all from the concept Toyota first showed us at the Los Angeles Motor Show in 2021, apparently based around the theme of high tech and emotion. Well, at least it's different. And it's certainly different from Toyota's usual SUV contender of this size, the RAV4. Compared to that car, the BZ4X is 90mm longer, 5mm narrower, and it sits 85mm lower. Plus it has shorter overhangs, and most significantly, it boasts a wheelbase that's 160mm longer. The 4.69 meters long silhouette is more angular too, with these pronounced upper door creases on both doors and a lower tick-shaped swage line which flows up into the rear wheel arch. The frontal appearance is characterized by a new, apparently brand-defining hammerhead shape with BD signature slim LED headlight eyes and an emphasis on the front corners, which is supposed to communicate the car's strong stance. At the rear, the design focus is again on emphasising the corners. This split roof spoiler that's standard above base trim is interesting, and its aerodynamic properties are supposed to make unnecessary a rear wiper, so Toyota hasn't fitted one. Right, time to take a look inside. It's all quite different, isn't it? As you'd hope with a car designed from a clean sheet of paper. Whether this is as luxurious a cabin as ought to grace a £50,000 upper mid-sized EV is another question. Charismatic furnishing and opulent panelling isn't everything, of course, and there's absolutely no doubt that this is the most sophisticated front of cabin design that the company has ever offered, and in some ways also the most unusual. The absence of a glove box here is supposed to create an area feeling, which unfortunately you don't really notice because you're all hemmed in by this high-set center console, below which room created by the absence of a transmission tunnel frees up open, lower, shallow storage space that you'll hardly ever use. The other thing you'll notice pretty soon after getting comfortable is the unusual wheel and instrument binnacle arrangement that sees you staring through the spokes of a smaller than usual steering wheel at a 7-inch digital combi-meter instrument screen that's supported by these unusual grey slatted struts. Anything else that you need to know will of course be found on this central infotainment monitor. Now this will be of the 12.3-inch Toyota Smart Connect kind that we have here, provided you've avoided the base pure level of trim, which hardly anyone will want. This Smart Connect setup is a vast improvement on previous Toyota infotainment technology, and it includes some over-the-air updates, cloud-based navigation, and also a decently intuitive voice activation system. The steering wheel and the instrument screen layout might take a little bit of adjustment, but you'll like the commanding SUV-like seating position and also these supportive front chairs. Right, enough on the front of cabin experience. Let's take a look in the back. Well, it's certainly spacious in terms of legroom. You'll find this to be vast if you come to this car from a combustion-powered saloon or SUV of this size. Headroom isn't quite so noteworthy, so particularly lanky folk might have to take advantage of the backrest recline adjustment feature. More significant, though, is an issue that affects quite a few EVs of this kind, namely that the high floor level necessitated by the bulky lower battery pack means that the underside of your thighs could be better supported, although it's something you'll only notice really keenly on longer trips. So, does that long wheelbase translate into a vast boot capacity? Well, not really. The tailgate is powered, providing you avoid base trim, and once it rises, a 452 litre capacity is revealed. That seat back recline function means you have the option of making the backrest a bit more upright when you're cramming suitcases in. 3 82 litre cases would fit if you did that, or if you prefer, a couple of mountain bikes. Toyota's forgotten to include cargo sidewall catches too, so you have to stretch to the ones on the seat's shoulders if you have to flatten the rear bench. Once you've done that, you'll find the space opened up isn't quite flat, but it should be quite sufficient for the needs of most owners. Stupid name, very sensible car. The BZ4X is good enough to endorse Toyota's decision to play the long game and take its time in developing a full EV. We had hoped for a more premium cabin ambiance and a more groundbreaking set of drive range stats, but in almost every other respect, this car emerges as a very complete product indeed. The engineering here is certainly complete enough to make quite a few other mid-sized full electric crossover rivals feel a bit first generation. In many ways, this is the EV that Toyota's rivals always feared it would build. In future with Toyota, we will see more extreme electric vehicles than this one, but for the slowly evolving target market, right here, right now, we think that this BZ4X will work just fine.